Memphis Morning News time is 6:45 today. High near 80, mostly cloudy skies. Very muggy. You have to be motivated to get outside today in this kind of weather, Karen Perrin.
You do have to be motivated. You have to pull yourself away from the television or the computer or your iPad or whatever, your phone. Just put the phone down. And let's talk to a personal trainer, Junior Wakefield. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
Hey, how are you today?
Doing good. How are you?
Great. You know, your topic today is about binge watching TV, and I'm going to admit I have binge watched a show or two, and you're telling me, as I might have suspected, it's not so great for my health.
Well, that is true. I've binge watched quite a few TV shows myself. It's just being able to change some things up. You know, we know that once we sit in front of a TV for about a couple of hours, if we're watching Netflix or watching our favorite TV show, you know, it's one of those things that we get our snacks to what TV show we're watching. So if we're watching a comedy and so forth, there was a study that said that when you're watching a comedy, you don't eat as much popcorn or sweet. But when you're watching something that's emotional or something serious, is you end up eating mostly everything that you get.
So unfortunately, if I'm watching basketball, I'm not burning calories along with the athletes on TV.
Well, yeah, in a way, that's kind of it.
Well, there goes my P90X infomercial binge-watching theory then. I sat there and watched Tony for hours on end. You know what? Never lost an ounce. But in all seriousness, though, it seems like time just slips away when you start binge-watching. The next thing you know, you don't have time to really do anything else. Do you find people just kind of get sucked in and just can't get motivated to get up off the couch?
That's exactly it. We spend so many hours a day, you know, working and taking care of business and running errands and so forth. And so when it gets our personal time, one of the things that we like to do is we kind of like to check out. And so a lot of times when we check out, it's usually around that dinner time or that hunger time, and we want to get caught up in our favorite show or TV series, or we just want to binge, you know, with our Sons of Anarchy or our House of Cards. And so it's according to what it is that you like to do. You know, we spend so much time doing it, watching the TV shows, that we lose track of our eating, we lose track of our workouts, we lose track of just resting. And because whatever TV show it is if it's emotional, if it's a comedy, if it's an action, you know, that's pretty much we're going to eat to what's going on, whatever it is that we're watching.
All right, so the eating is bad. The sedentary behavior, though, I guess, is also the bigger problem, too, because you're sitting there doing a big bunch of nothing, and that can lead to all kinds of health problems if you simply don't get moving.
That's true. If you think about it, as you're sitting there watching a TV show, one of the things that's happening is we're spending a lot of time with eating our snacks. We're not working out. And then usually once it's over, we're so fatigued that we end up going to bed. And it usually starts out that when we go to bed, then everything that we've just eaten, you know, it kind of adds a couple of pounds to the waist, to the hips, and so forth. But one of the things that we can do or change it up is it's kind of that thing that you do when you go to the grocery store, is you get yourself full before you go to the grocery store so you don't get a bunch of snacks and you don't, you know, sit in the living room. One of the things that I use myself is we don't eat in the living room. Also, is we keep all of our snacks out of reach.
Ah.
And so when it's something, you know, if you're watching a TV show or something that you really like, you know, usually there's 90 commercials if you're watching it during Netflix, or, you know, if there is commercials, try to do something active in between the commercials, or if there's a certain thing that continuously keeps happening, such as if you're watching the Sons of Anarchy, you know, somebody's going to get killed. If somebody gets killed, then just run up and down the stairs or go outside or do something.
So an exercise game, in theory, is good. You know, it's funny you would say that. Last night, my 14-year-old said, in all the commercial breaks of the basketball last night, we're all going to do 10 push-ups. I don't think that lasted more than one commercial break or two, but the thought was there, right?
Most definitely. And, you know, all it takes is some motivation. A lot of times if we're sitting there, we're usually sitting there because we've had a tough day. Just something has been going on that just kind of we just need to veg out a little bit. And so sometimes just the noise in general or watching the show gets us kind of in that kind of mellow zone. Of course, unless it's some type of action, then it kind of gets us pumped up. But one of the things about it is if you set goals, you set rules, you set motivation, you know, we need to motivate ourselves by doing this. Just don't get caught in that binge watching to where you're eating popcorn and sugar and snacks and so forth. Just change some things up.
Junior Wakefield, personal trainers with us this morning on Memphis Morning News. Junior, at what point is there a certain threshold where we start seeing adverse effects from just hanging out on the couch? Is there any studies show that there's any adverse effects after a certain amount of time, or is there a certain period at which, okay, if I get up and do a little bit of this, if I kind of mix stuff in, does this kind of negate some of the negative effects?
Well, it's that thing we know that if we sit around and we get caught up in watching a full day marathon of movies, or just the regular thing of, hey, I'm going to watch a movie at 7 or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or anything like that, our body starts to recognize what's happening. Mm-hmm. So then our metabolism is not going to burn as much fat as it normally would if we're being active. So being able to change some things up, you hear about diabetes, you hear about high blood pressure, eating snacks, eating popcorn, eating just eating in the living room in general, just being in that sedentary position, mm-hmm. You're going to gain those pounds. You're going to end up spending more money going to the doctor for the doctor to tell you things that you already know you should be doing. And so it's kind of one of those things. You have to change things up to get the results that you want to, especially when it comes to fitness. You have to all of a sudden be tired of being tired, mm-hmm. of being either overweight or being just having high blood pressure or diabetes. You just have to be tired of it. And so you have to be able to change something up.
Hey, Junior, I've got about 15 seconds here. Just a quick question for you. If I exercise, if I have a gym routine earlier in the day, does that help negate some of that later in the day, or do you still need to kind of avoid these behaviors?
It does. It does in the morning. It helps you burn some of those calories, but also being able to stay active will help you to lose the weight that you need to lose or to be in a better position than you already are.
Okay, Junior Wakefield, personal trainer, thank you for joining us this morning with just some great advice and some great insight on binge-watching TV. Thank you, sir.
Tired of being tired. That's so true.
Yeah.